Did you get the link? Did I share it with you?
I did not get a link.
Okay, I will share the link with you, and you can share it with everybody here.
If anyone has questions and stuff, feel free to post them in the channel chat.
Boom. Okay.
Oh, nice. I will.
All right. I think we are live. So this is MarsCast number 18, and Felix is on vacation, so he's not here with us today. But we do have Mitch from the Mars team, and we have a lot of founders with us right now too. So we're kind of doing this basically live in Discord. So that's really cool. I think we'll start off. What is Million on Mars for anyone that's here who doesn't know what Million on Mars is?
So, for anyone who doesn't know, actually, let me pull open. I wrote a brand new description for the game that I gave to Jumpgate the other day, and I
Hmm.
think it really encapsulates the current sort of state of the game, and also what I think is a really good sort of emphasis on the actual game itself, and not just sort of the Web3 elements of the game.
Right.
So what I would the way I would describe it is Million on Mars is a browser-based, mobile-friendly, massively multiplayer simulation game that's set 50 years in the future on the Red Planet. Mom combines elements of a resource management, colony simulation, and MMORPG games in a persistent player-owned and player-driven economy. Players are responsible for growing, manufacturing, and producing all of the resources in the game through over a dozen professions and specializations. Resources can be bought and sold on the open market, and specialized labor can be offered up or hired whenever needed through the job system. And groups of players can also form settlements and take on guilds in order to manage their supply chains, rent and share buildings with each other, and compete against other settlements as they race for the stars. All the land plots in Million on Mars are one-to-one match with the real high-rise data collected from the actual planet Mars, giving players the most accurate data and representation of their simulation experience when they're playing the game.
Nice.
So that's sort of like our new
Hmm.
like overall description of the game, which I really do think is it emphasizes everything that's like innovative, that's really kind of compelling and unique about the
Yeah.
game, and doesn't just talk it. There's if you notice, I didn't talk about blockchain. I didn't
Right.
say Web3. I didn't say any buzzwords other than what it is about the game. I mean, with the exception of maybe player owned. I think that's the
Yeah.
sort of like buzzword that you could say is driven on the um sort of the Web3 side of things.
Oh, for sure. I know one thing that I like about it is that you've made it a lot easier for new players to participate. There's a 3-day trial that's available. It's probably never been easier to jump in and try it out. So,
Yeah, it's been a good start, and I think
hmm,
we can do even better. It's one of the things that I'm really going to be focused on in the coming weeks here is not only overhauling our first time user experience, but also our overall mission system. I really want to help emphasize on creating a engaging and ongoing experience with a lot of depth and replayability that players can have. So that's stuff that we'll be talking about today.
oh, for sure. What are some new things that you have for new players coming down the pipeline? I know that like the missions were part of that. The new 3-day part. Are there other things coming for new players to
Oh yeah.
experience?
Yeah, so the new player system, what I want to do is not only like a look at all of the existing missions and goals that players are able to complete for when they're onboarding into the game, but I also
Hmm.
want to expand that so that you get sort of quest and mission content for all of the professions, for all the specializations, for all the main core actions that you do. And then I also want to give players a chance to do repeatable content so they can have daily missions and daily activities that they can do every day in order to earn resources and rewards that help them progress inside of the game. I think the sort of replayability factor that also combines elements of learning the sort of important things that you should be doing every day is a critical piece that's
Hmm.
missing, and I'm eager to kind of get that in place. And with the daily mission system in place, we'll have a really good foundation that all the new missions, all the first time user experience can really be built on top of and really kind of take advantage of.
Okay, so it'll kind of like guide a new player along.
Definitely.
Oh, I like that. I know, like, at least when I got in, it was like, okay, we had like the new player guide over here, then we had like the wiki, and then like something else we had to go to try to figure out how to play the game ourselves. Months and months and months ago. But I'll tell you what, it's come a long way since I started playing, and I know some other people here have been here a lot longer, and I'm sure they're just as impressed as I am as how far and how much have you guys done in such a short time. So definitely kudos. And if you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, like that video that Eric did earlier today, I'll put a link to it. Once the video is posted on YouTube, I'll put a link to Eric's video with the year in review. I think he just knocked it out of the park, and he pretty much touched on everything. It was quite the video. I liked it.
Yeah, that one's really, really exciting because Eric touches on a lot of things that are um, in development, that are on the horizon, that we're sort of eager to sort of produce and bring to life in the coming weeks.
Hmm.
Aspects of some of those systems are going to allow us to provide really compelling game experiences that are not just asynchronous, but actually feel much more like multiplayer, that feel like PvP, that feel like real time strategy elements, that your actions have immediate reactions and consequences. And it's not just about sort of setting up repetitive tasks or sort of um, appointment mechanics of like, when you're going to
Hmm.
harvest your crops. The gameplay will add a whole new layer of depth and decision making that you'll be able to choose from between. And then now your decisions of like what you're spending your stamina on, whether you want to go dump it in some kind of competitive aspect of the game or you want to spend it focusing on creating resources, it'll provide a lot more interesting choices for players. And I think in the coming weeks and months you'll see us take this further where we can um, also add, we've talked a little bit about the uranium mine in the past. That's sort of our take on dungeons. I think that will also provide another sort of loop that players can sort of really get deep into and have a lot of fun with.
Oh, it sounds great. Yeah, I like that. It's really taking shape, man. I like it a lot. I personally came into the space and I joined a game that was just like a one click miner. You know what I mean? And it was like boom or bust. It was the scariest thing I've ever done, and unfortunately, I got in on the way down on that one. But it was a learning experience still, and yeah, I've learned that find a good team, find a good community, and I feel like I've found that here with you guys, your fully docs team. The community is just insane. A lot of people have been here like the whole time, and it's just grown and grown and grown. And for me, I believe it's going to be one of the games that not only survives the bear market, but also thrives on the other end of it. So I'm happy with Million on Mars, and yeah, that's where I'm at with it. So
Yeah, it's been an amazing
mhm,
last year, and we are super eager and excited about where we think things are going to head in the coming months as well.
yeah, absolutely. Scorpimus, am I saying that right?
Yeah,
What is that?
our
What
it's
is
our
Scorpimus?
annual holiday take on Christmas.
Okay.
It's sort of it's based around the idea that Mars has a different calendar, and so
Hmm.
their months run a little bit differently. And this sort of is the month of that that's the can't remember the name of the Martian month off the top of my head, but anyway, this all lines up with the name and the theme of the month. So the main sort of idea and goal behind this is that we wanted to create something that players can sort of participate in crafting, collecting, a little bit something that feels competitive, and something that if they're a little bit more charitable and generous, they can also be rewarded for. So
Hmm.
I came up with the idea of like a snowball fight and a gift giving sort of competition to kind of go along with things. And then I brought back the candy canes, the toy rovers, and the snowmen that we did last year. We had a similar kind of action that you could turn in these gifts that you would craft. But back then, you would just get raw dusk, but I tried to mix it up a little bit and also jokingly give players some soil as a sort of as a consolatory gift if they don't get any of the decent drops out of that turn in.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know, just
That's
something fun
cool.
to kind of hold
Yeah,
people over with for the holidays.
I like that soil instead of coal.
Yeah, that was exactly the idea.
I
It was like a coal, like equivalent of coal, but a little different.
appreciate that. That is so cool.
The
Uh,
gifts can be opened
mhm.
now, by the way. I don't know if anyone noticed. You should be able to open the regular Scorpimus and gold gifts as well.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Let us
yeah,
know what you're pulling. I'd be curious to know. I know there's a range of stuff in there, but yeah, let us know what you got. So I
yeah, the
haven't.
regular ones
Mhm,
have a unique kind of set of rewards. The gold ones definitely have better rewards. I'm
mhm.
sure people will overpay or underpay for them and complain that they got ripped off or that they got a really sweet deal, depending
Right.
on how it is.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Hopefully, it's all nothing but good stuff for Christmas for you guys. Scorpimus.
yeah, yeah,
New
whatever.
new missions. What's says you got some new missions in the pipeline?
Yeah, so I'll carry on further because the sort of the daily missions and some of the other stuff that I'm working on has multiple facets to it, and I think
Mhm.
that there's some unique aspects to this that I can sort of share a little leak and insight about that I think people will find really cool. So one of the biggest sort of complaints that or not complaints, one of the biggest pieces of feedback that I often hear from people is that sometimes their buildings sit idle and that they don't feel that there's anything of value that they get when they're not actively in production. And I think that's a totally fair piece of feedback. And it certainly doesn't feel great if you have a building there that just has no real strong purpose. And so
Mhm.
one of the things that I wanted to sort of do to address this is to create what I'm calling building missions. And the idea behind this is that your buildings will, depending on the level of the building and the rarity of the building, they will have a chance to spawn a item inside that is effectively like a quest or a mission that you have to do. And
Okay.
so you players themselves will be able to um, solve problems or issues that happen on the buildings and help also earn bonus XP and rewards for doing it. So, for example, a greenhouse might have leaky seals on the glass panels, and you might have to repair those or something like that. But
Mhm.
the buildings, these sort of missions and these tasks will have a limited supply, so only like one or two people can sort of claim that mission and turn it in and do the objectives that are required. But the idea is that um, sort of the more buildings you have, the higher the level they are, the higher the rarity are, the more likely they are to spawn these mission items, and the more you can effectively rent them out for players that want to earn those rewards, or the more that you can just do them yourself if you're just trying to grind them and earn bonus rewards for doing that kind of stuff. So
Well, that's kind of cool.
it's going to create a whole new different kind of like
Mhm.
secondary layer for having buildings and wanting to sort of like make use of them. And the intent behind this is to have a really big amount of content so that there's a lot of replayability and there's a lot of unique sort of um, options that are happening. So it doesn't just feel like you're doing the same three things every day.
I like that. It's like a different interaction.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's cool. And it's
Uh,
something you can build off of too, I imagine. You know?
yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
it'll be just the
The
beginning.
intent here is to take this concept and build it in several different ways. So it's not just um, the same kind of like building tasks. There's going to be some of the other buildings will have a different set of daily missions and daily things that you can do, and
Mhm.
that's something that I want to kind of build out in a bunch of different places. Is something that provides a lot of different layers that you can do every day that it changes up the gameplay so that every day that you're playing the game you would have 10 different sort of choices of what you want to focus on for that day, whether you're trying to do research in the library, where you're trying to work on doing look scavenging for uranium in the mine, whether you're doing
Mhm.
missions on in the cantina. Like I want to have a lot of variety there basically, and I think that's what this is going to be set up to really provide.
That's awesome. Can't wait to see it. I only got one follow-up question for that, and it's when. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
As always, I don't ever commit to dates anymore.
I
I can
know.
say that
I
it's
know.
pretty far along
Yeah.
in terms of like the planning efforts. It's
Mhm.
always about how long it takes to implement and test and ship it out. That said, our tools are continuing to come along, and we're getting very very close to making the sort of like switch over from sort of spreadsheets to tools in a much more structured way. So when that
Nice.
happens, there's we will hopefully catch up a lot more on the cadence and the speed at which we can ship out content.
I gotcha. No, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Hatcheries. My
Yes, the
chickens,
long awaited
oh, go ahead.
hatcheries.
Yep. The long awaited. I think I got what, two of them for getting my two eggs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my chickens are 7 days out. So I don't know what they're gonna be yet or what they look like, but I'm pretty pumped to see them. Yeah. I'm sure you,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
gonna have hatcheries live very very
Mhm.
soon. I'm building out the shop right now. I'm hopefully gonna have it live tonight so that people can get it. It's a little bit later than intended. I had a bit of a personal emergency today. I was aiming to have the shop live, and then a pipe burst in my garage, and I had to find a plumber and get that all resolved. So,
Oh no.
life happens. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's all been taken care of now.
Yeah, that
So,
winter storm is pretty massive.
yeah, it hit us hard.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of snow, and I have to keep feeding we have to keep feeding warm oatmeal to our chickens so that they're making
Oh.
it through this cold weather as
Oh,
well.
nice. Wait. So you're the life science guy on the dev team doing like the professional work, putting in the chicken part, and you actually have chickens yourself at home for real.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What?
I do have chickens. I've done hydroponic and
Uh-huh.
aeroponic gardening. I have regular soil garden beds. Like I'm
Mhm.
into the whole like homesteading stuff big time and
Nice.
love the idea of like raising chickens. I strongly recommend this that everyone raise chickens because
100%.
once you get into uh farm fresh eggs, like you just can't go back.
Yeah.
You get spoiled.
What colors do
And
you get?
my eggs are I get brown, white, blue, and green usually.
Nice. That's so cool.
I have Easter eggers, which is the breed that has um, the sort of the blue and the green color eggs. So
Okay.
they often have very different colored eggs, and it's
Yeah.
pretty exciting. But
It,
every one of
it's
them
pretty
has a
wild.
different, unique color. Of my like 7 hens, they're all
Yeah.
different color eggs.
Oh, that's awesome. So you have 7 hens, 7 egg layers.
Yep.
Nice. Zero roosters.
Yeah, no, I don't need a rooster. I have
you
no need for that.
ain't trying that, huh?
We only just claim eggs every day. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
A
good.
rooster would cause far more issues. And what's
Hmm.
interesting is chickens have a natural tendency to just they have a pecking order, and then the sort of top chicken of the hens sort of takes on the duties of a rooster.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it becomes the one that like guards the other chickens, that
Hmm.
like gets them to go inside at night. So they kind of like take these duties on automatically even when you don't have one. So
That's pretty cool.
it's kind of
Nice.
interesting.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
somebody's got to do it, right? So
Yep.
that's awesome. I know my city just lifted our ban on them basically, so now we can have up to 4 egg layers ourselves. So we'll be getting chickens next year. Just gotta
That's
figure out
awesome.
the coop and the build and stuff. They have some requirements that they want us to do, so I
Yep.
gotta handle that. But yeah, that's the plan for next year. Get my own
That's
eggs and
awesome.
yeah. Um,
It's so much fun. Yeah, dealing with pests is
mhm,
the biggest challenge.
yeah.
Oh man, I've had to deal with some nasty possums and some other like little critters, but
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
Okay.
a possum killed one of my chickens.
Oh, a
It did
possum.
not end well. Yes.
I mean, I can understand a coyote, but
No, a possum. They
yeah.
were going after the eggs, and then one of the
Mhm.
chickens was trying to defend it, and it was yeah. I opened up the coop and found a possum just holding one of my chickens dead in its hands. It was not a
Oh,
fun sight.
sad.
Oh yeah, real sad.
Ouch.
It
Ouch.
was brutal.
Sorry. That sucks.
No, dude, it's part of life, man. Like
It's part of it. Yeah.
you're introducing um delicious treat to known
Hmm.
predators, and like if
That's
you
true.
live close enough, it's gonna happen. And
Yeah.
where I live on the outskirts, there's definitely predators that can make their way. So,
Oh yeah, I could see that.
yep.
Hey, I mean, 100 years ago, we probably all would have had chickens. You know,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
chopping our own wood and everything. So,
It's
um,
the one nice thing about not having to live in the city. Yeah.
right, right. So, hatcheries are coming soon.
Yes.
Um, and now I have basically open Q&A. So if anyone here in the founders has a question, anybody on the who's watching the stream has a question, yeah, just shoot it out. Love to hear from you. I don't know how you want to do it. If you want to have them like raise their hand, I don't know if you can do that in here or not. But
Anyone could just speak up. I'm
yeah,
sure everyone's polite enough to not talk over each other,
yeah, absolutely,
or
absolutely.
they'll just be no one.
And hopefully everyone's having a great weekend and everything's smooth sailing, stress free. Hopefully, Mitch obviously had a pipe burst, so he's not stress free, but he's doing okay.
Life happens.
Yeah.
Life happens. Not not too worried. The only let me see. I did see a couple of questions in Founders Chat.
Okay.
Let's see. Dynamic Treasury. I think Lamp leaked something about this already, but
Hmm.
um, we pretty much have a yeah, we're pretty close on that, so that it will automatically be filling the treasury now, without us having to manually do it. So that's
Good deal. Good deal.
yeah. When artifact hatchery.
Ooh.
I don't know anything that doesn't have an artifact. It's usually not intentional. It's just like there'll be one at some
Hmm.
point, probably.
Maybe you find the shards inside the egg.
I don't know. I will give one piece of advice before people
Hmm.
start hatching their eggs is there will be more breeds added to the existing colors of eggs.
More
And so
breeds.
so if you care about collecting,
Hmm.
you should take that into consideration. That's all I'll say. Like there will be retroactive. So like
Yeah.
there could be more breeds added to any of the existing colors. And there is a lot more breeds coming. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to have a broad range of interesting choices. I want to have a bunch of different traits so that when you start to crossbreed, you get unique colors and there's rare chances of unlocking and discovering new ones and stuff like that. And
Nice.
I have we want to hook up achievements and stuff so that like the first players to discover and collect all the breeds and stuff get rewards and stuff. So
Hey, that's
it's
cool. Yeah. I mean, that gets that like collector's itch out of
people
the
that
way.
invest in yeah, exactly. We want to make
Hmm.
it worthwhile for the people that care about those kind of aspects.
Will they be like mostly collectors? Like, will they have any differences? What I'm trying to say.
The differences will be pretty minor. Like
Hmm.
there might be some that are more suited for egg laying, some that might be more suited for turning into meat,
Hmm.
and then some that are just sort of in the middle. I don't really intend for it to have a drastic sort of like min-max strategy. I think it's the idea of wanting to collect the different types and breeds or your favorites, I think should be more of a secondary compelling thing, not something that you have to do.
Right.
Um, and they're not a they're going to be NFT driven when they're like mature. So the idea here is that they do have a bit of like an investment and effort required if you want to like raise them and manage them and stuff like that. So
Okay.
trying to keep the balance there. This first pass is going to be a little bit janky, I'll call it. Instead of being able to feed
Hmm.
them every day and going through like a nice clean cycle, it's going to be another like long feeding sort of raising cycle of like a few weeks, and then when we come back from the holidays, we'll have it all set up so that you get sort of the mature. You'll when you hatch them, you'll find out if you get the male or the female and the breed, but you won't
Hmm.
really know any of the other traits or anything beyond that. When you raise them full, you'll get sort of the ready to mint mature version of the hen or the rooster. And then once you mint it, you get the full traits and attributes, and then you can actually harvest eggs and breed and do all that stuff. So the goal is that you get it. You should be able to go all the way to getting it to a mature, ready to mint state, and then we'll be finishing. We have to finish a little bit more of the tech side of like minting it and hooking up all those pieces because we're building out a system that works for multiple types of customizable NFT objects. So like,
Gotcha.
like the hopper is another one that's coming for aerospace. So we're building
Hmm.
a system that's a little bit more flexible for what we're doing so that we can do more unique NFT stuff.
Hey, that's cool. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one other thing cool that's cool too is that you can trade them between players. So if like
Yeah.
someone is collecting, maybe someone's got one that you kind of want, and they don't really. Maybe some people don't really have a preference, so they're like, yeah, sure, take my green looking chicken or whatever, you know. So just swap them out. And,
Exactly.
hmm.
Yeah, they'll be market tradable until the mature state, and then once they've matured and are minted, then they're NFTs and you have to deal with them on the secondary markets.
Yep.
So
Okay.
if you care about collecting all the little specific traits and certain things, then you might have to a little bit more effort ahead of you on the secondary. Otherwise, when you sort of like do the mint process, you're going to be gambling on what traits actually appear in when it's minted, because we want it to have that sort of like randomized effect that works like the way the Martisans are.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be a sort of initial set of colors and traits, and then there'll be randomizations that happen and other fun stuff that I want to kind of build into it.
I don't mind that. I think that's kind of like, when you kill a boss in an MMO and you're like, okay, did he drop my sword? Is it the one I want? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and it does, it sucks obviously when your sword doesn't drop or your item, and then but when your item does drop, it feels great. So, and I don't know, there's not much to compare that feeling to. It's just a different, really cool feeling when you get what you're after. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
kind of that gamer fun nerd stuff that we love, you know? Yeah. How are the questions coming? Anybody can speak up too in the comms here. I know we got grilled cheese, your boy, Mama
There's a
Bear,
ton of people in
Iceman.
here.
Yeah, if you have a question, comment, or you want to just like, I don't know, like throw out some
How's
kudos.
how's everyone's mom holidays going? Yeah.
Yeah. Crickets.
No one.
I got a
Okay.
question. Are you ever gonna do some work on that Steam game, the Steam version?
Ooh.
Um, sort of. I think in next year, as we continue to expand the world, and as we continue to open up to other game experiences, I think those kind of things will be more and more possible. One of the things that we're working towards longer term is um, not just connecting to other blockchains, but just being able to read wallets and assets from other states, and being able to pass data sort of in between, or either externally and receive data internally through APIs, so that more interactivity and sort of cross functionality type stuff is possible. When that's in play, then a lot more interesting things can be built and sort of stood on top of the core foundation. But that's pretty far out, I'd
Mhm.
say, at the basis where um, if you listen to Eric's video, he
Mm.
talks a lot about stuff that is he talks a lot about some big stuff actually
Yeah.
that like is on the horizon. Like if you clue into a few different things, like the world that we are building is going to get a lot bigger in terms of like what you can do. I mean, we're certainly on the precipice of exploring more games and more
Hmm.
worlds that can be built and leverage the existing sort of like tech and platforms that we've built. And that's not something that will abandon anyone who's already playing what we have now.
Oh,
So
that's great.
yeah.
I always just assumed they were one for one, like they were on like the same update, but just different. Web 2, Web 3. But yeah, I'll have to check that out. I do play a lot of games on Steam, so is it very
Yeah.
similar or is it quite different?
No, the Steam version is a little bit different. It's more of like a persistent resource management type game. I will say the Steam version right now has not been like actively in dev or supported at recent times. Like we've
Hmm.
really been focused on the web based experience, because we want to build something that can be played by the most amount of people possible, and that it also is like resonating with the sort of longer term plans that we want for the game and the world. So that's where the majority of the focus is for sure.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I'm about halfway through Eric's video. I had to stop to do this basically. But no, it was getting so good. I got it paused. I'm ready to listen to the rest of it. Well, I think we pretty much covered everything unless anyone has anything else to say. Keep this one nice and short. I know it's a little tougher because we're so close and there's so many different events going on in real life and things going on just all over that our schedules didn't quite work out. Felix isn't here. He's on vacation. Felix is actually closer to me than he's ever been, but somehow he can't make it. I don't get it. The time zone is like we're like an hour apart, you know?
I
Oh,
was hoping to see something
yeah.
something special like Felix and Jumpgate magically jumping in together in an episode.
Yeah.
That would have been magic.
If I didn't have kids, I would have gone to and visited him down in yeah, on the beach there. So
Oh yeah,
yeah, it definitely would
the only
beat
part that doesn't have snow in this country.
right. We are currently negative 20 Celsius, I believe.
Oh my god,
Yeah, and that's like
pretty
negative
cold.
10 Fahrenheit, and it actually feels like negative 30 Fahrenheit. So because it's windy and it's just brutal. Dog doesn't want to go
That's
out. I don't want to go out. It's
it's
crazy.
harsh.
I
So
think it went down to 16 in Austin, which is the same thing as -20.
woo. Yeah, and that's hard on you guys down there. Wow. Everybody got hit, seems like. That's insane. That's insane. Well, that should do it. I appreciate you guys joining in the Discord chat and thanks for watching on YouTube. I appreciate you joining, Mitch, and all the insight you provided today. That's great. It's nice to get the update on what's going on. I feel like man, we're probably in for a treat over the next few months here, huh?
Fully, I think so. We're gonna be quiet for the next week and a half or so,
Hmm.
like largely just on our own sort of like holiday breaks, and we certainly have people around to answer tickets and make sure the lights are still on, but you'll see it might be just a smidge slower for the next couple of weeks, and then we'll come back with our batteries recharged, raring to go for sure.
Oh, good deal. Yeah, get some rest, man. I
Oh,
know. I know
definitely,
when you guys are rested, you guys just come out swinging. So, all
definitely.
all right. Well, that'll be it from MarsCast 18. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.